Call this meeting to order. Stand for the pledge of allegiance, please. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Chris Buckman.
Here.
Carol Hadworn. Larry Magden.
Here.
Jason Newberry.
Here.
Deanna Garber.
Here.
Tom Henning.
Here.
Pat Zito.
Okay, the adoption of the agenda.
I move we adopt the agenda.
Okay, got a motion
Second it.
and a second. All those in favor, raise your hand. Okay, all those opposed, same sign.
Better get in there, Tom.
I know
We're already on the board.
Okay, recognition of patrons and staff. Adam? Nobody?
Nobody this evening.
Moving on to our first discussion item. Department of Engineering proposal.
Energy.
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, you're good.
Engineering, same thing.
We don't get too far in there.
Laura's.
Yes, Laura,
Laura's
that's
game.
one up. Laura Lombardi is here. And I put on here that, her partner on this, Barry Dicker, would be here this evening, but Laura's gonna represent them both this evening, and
I'll do my best.
yes,
anyways.
has been, just to give you a little background, has approached the district about a proposal grant with the Department of Energy to do some different things. Has also been talking with the city and with the county and some various entities in town, and so was going to kind of go over the what side this would be with the school district. So anyway, come on up. I'll get out of your way. Yep.
No, this is great, thank you.
Sure.
I'm pretty official. I brought show and tell because sometimes this is sort of a hard thing to explain unless you see it in person, but we have recently been awarded a $1.4 million grant from the Department of Energy to install phase change insulation into 4 county buildings and 2 city buildings. We think there might be a possibility, if things work out right, that we might be able to actually add a school district building into it. It just kind of will depend on how quickly we get it installed in these, and so we wanted to at least make you guys aware of what the scheme was, so when we came in and said, hey, we think we can do this, that this is what it is. So this is phase change insulation, and it's a ceiling tile that's installed above ceiling tiles like this that provides a barrier and can reduce energy consumption about 20%, 20-25%, depending on the circumstances. It is super easy to install. With the Department of Energy grants that we're working on, there would be no cost to the district to install any of it. It would just be, we would take a look at your energy bills and hopefully get them reduced and show people that it worked in different situations. Right now, it looks as though we are putting it in City Hall, EMS, fire and police, Department of Health, the courthouse, Raymond Fry, and the Santa Fe building. So that's where it stands right now. We also are in line with the possibility of a much more substantial grant that we'll find out about July 1st, which would really open up some possibilities to do some things with the school district, not only from energy savings, but perhaps from curriculum and those types of angles. So, questions I can answer for anybody?
So it goes in above, you don't even see those?
Yes, Mr.
You still see that?
You do not see them. You still see that. The company we're working with actually is designing something that could be used, as the visual element and the workable insulation element. But for now, these go in above those ceiling tiles. Now, if you have insulation above the ceiling tiles here, it will fit between them and it'll be measured with that insulation on top of this. These are made with...
Is it hard plastic?
It is, here. So this it's cold right now, so the material is hard and firm. But as it heats, it basically liquefies. So if you've ever received like the food in the mail that has the cooling packets that aren't really ice, it's a similar process to this. It's a sort of a clay and salt mixture, and it can actually be programmed to liquefy at certain temperatures. So it helps maintain a steady temperature. It absorbs the heat, and then as the room cools down later, after we would all leave, then it would dissipate back in. So it just helps stabilize and control the temperature. You haven't seen this before, have you? It's a new thing. Things like this have been tested. It's been field tested, but this particular study will not only field test it under the guise of the Department of Energy, but also validate the statistics of how it impacts, energy savings and reduces costs and things like that. The study goes for 3 years. It will change periodically, and again, track all these buildings over that period of time.
Looks like a Shark Tank thing.
I know. It almost feels like it. And when you said Barry wasn't here, and Jason can attest to this, Barry is the technical person of this adventure, and he could tell you how the mixtures and all that work. For me, I'm like, okay, it goes in above the tile. I know, And again, it's just one of those things that super easy to install. It doesn't require any changes in any of the buildings. The buildings that we'll be studying here will get some sort of upgraded thermostats and things so that people aren't running in and changing their own thermostat periodically. But it'll be a very, very interesting study. And also, it's very cool for us in Sumner County because we were the only small rural area that got selected. There were only 8 studies across the entire country. So, and this other one is going to be similar to that. Yes.
Is it something that is just for like businesses, right? Is it something that's gonna be for homes?
People can use it at home, yeah. It's such a new material that, again, you want to validate how it works, and does it work better if there's no insulation above it or with insulation above it, or does it work better in certain types of buildings? So it'll discover all those kinds of things.
The occupants of the building, what are they supposed to do? Not
They get
touch,
to do nothing.
don't touch the
should-
thermostat, for
right.
example? Just go.
And they'll probably think they can adjust the thermostat, but it'll actually be on a programmed system so that it's monitored all the time. If it needed to be changed because something was uncomfortable or whatever, then obviously they could do that. But they really should be a lot more comfortable in the space because again, it will stabilize the temperature in the room.
Are
You
we
know,
already on-
some people are hot and some are cold.
Yeah, and that's
So-
a
Stand over there to that one.
yeah.
Are we already on some kind of regulated thermostats, aren't we?
Yeah, it depends on the building. Each
Yeah.
building has their.
So we set, like when nobody's gonna be in the building,
We're
Yes.
had some issues
And they-
with some
yeah.
of those control systems.
so
They're-
we have that right now, right?
Yes.
So we
That
don't
That
have to
makes
be
it
set-
really great for working with you
Okay.
guys and things like that, and of course, someone knows all about the electrical things that go on in your buildings.
So not to overstep here, I've talked to Laura and
Please,
Barry quite a
yeah.
bit about this, so, and she kind of alluded to this, it's a 3-year project. So the first year is kind of gathering data, so it would basically be as is. They're gonna wanna monitor whatever buildings they choose and kind of get baselines. And I mean, any good study would wanna do that. So then the second year, they're gonna put the material in and kind of see what the differences are. And the third year is kind of just a
Right.
plus year, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, in some of these where we've discovered that there is insulation, they may remove the insulation and then compare, based on
So
that.
like Pat was alluding to, there's, there may be like occupant sensors, or I guess it was Larry asking what the people were doing. There may be occupant sensors in certain rooms to kind of let us know when certain rooms are being used, or let them know when certain rooms, we could have access to that too,
That's right. Mhm.
So that, because that varies a lot on your energy load. I mean, if your lights are on in a room but there's nobody in there, why are the lights on? So that type of information will be very valuable to us also.
And it will also bring some very interesting folks into our town. We'll have visitors from the Department of Energy and visitors from the lab that is doing the study, and we are working very closely with KU's School of Engineering, and they are part of the program. So they're gonna be sending folks down and,
What's the likelihood they're gonna add a school?
well, so it'll depend on, we just got the official, okay, done deal this morning, signed, everything. And so it gives us the ability to figure out where these sensors are gonna go. So it's gonna depend on how the lab wants to assess certain types of buildings that we then monitor. I think probably there's a decent chance. I think there's an even better chance with the next one that we think we have a pretty good shot of getting to, so. And it would allow us to do more creative things.
And that data that she's talking about being collected, I know Tom's probably got this question on his mind, won't be on the school's network.
No,
It'll be a
no, it won't be
totally
shared
separate network, so it
beyond,
won't-
it won't be shared beyond
security
Department of
wise, it
Energy.
won't be an issue.
So will they be modifying the recipe throughout? Are they gonna be swapping tiles back and forth or?
No, so they already know what the programmable mix is with theirs. They'll decide what temperature they want it to maintain, like, you know, if it's 78-degree tile, you know, they'll put it, the whole thing
Okay.
throughout.
So I didn't know if they were doing a study, if they would say, okay, we're gonna put the white ones in and, you know, a couple months later, we're gonna come in with the browns and just kind of.
No, and it will only, I mean, once the tiles are in, you won't even see any of this because it'll all be automatically monitored.
right.
It would make sense to put it in schools because their
Yes.
occupancy is so much different than these other buildings you're talking
Yes.
about. You've got a room full of kids, an auditorium full of people, that's so much different than the buildings you were
The
showing.
only thing that works against us from the school perspective with this particular study is that they want continual monitoring, so the fact that
Out of school.
don't have people in as much during the summer is the only thing that I think would really cause any kind of bump. But that
I can
doesn't,
see that.
we've got people in this building all the
Right,
time now,
there's
so.
two things that come up with those talks as far as year-round occupancy and the main thing with the district is central office is year-round occupancy and then also typically the athletic section of the high school is mostly year-round occupancy in the district. You know, we often switch elementary schools for summer school and all that kind of stuff, so those are the two places that are truly seems like year-round occupancy all the time, so that's been talked about.
Just so you guys have a little bit more background, I don't know if you caught in the newspapers the Max Sunshine project that was done with the Winfield School District. That was one of our projects as well, and we are installing a integrated solar system into a barn at Country View. So we've been doing quite a few, hopefully innovative, you know, and energy saving things around the two counties, so.
And you're doing some curriculum things with the kids over there as
We
well?
are.
Does it have to be tiles? I mean, you know, say, like, if it goes into homes, like my basement has false ceilings, but, which we're redoing actually. Does it have to be false ceilings, I guess?
It just has to be something that can set up against it, so I suppose that it could work, you know, with the rafters in a multi-story house, because it does work between floors, so it doesn't just have to be installed on the top floor. It can be done, you know, like in the Santa Fe building, it'll be done between floors there, as well as as part of the new roof that we will put on that building. But it has to be adjacent, I guess, is the best way to say it. Does that make sense?
So
Is there-
just to be clear, there's no cost to the school
No.
district,
No,
but there'll be monitoring for a year just to set the baseline. So how does that work? Somebody comes around and checks?
we install
Once
the automated collection devices, the sensors. And again, should be a very simple process. And again, it's all automated from there. It's a SenseWare program. It's all by computer at that point.
Is it a 3-year commitment if you?
It would be, yes, for this first one. If we end up putting it in one of the buildings connected to this one that we just received, yes, it would be 3 years. And, we know things change within those 3 years too, so, somebody gets a new roof, they get a new roof, and we adjust, the statistics based on that.
Any other questions?
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Laura.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Lawrence, appreciate it.
Next thing on the agenda is the band uniform.
Yes, Mr. Hiskin is here, and band uniforms are in.
Is there any music?
I
Yeah,
know.
we should.
They have marched in.
If ifs had been buts, we'd all have candy and nuts. You all know that one, right?
There we go.
You don't know that one? If ifs were buts, if ifs and buts were candy and nuts, we'd all be fat and full. So in a dream, I thought we'd have a whole drumline thing set up. And we had a family loss recently, and so all that kind of imploded a couple weeks ago. So these are what you got. So we've got a lot of different looks, and I wanted you to see them. Come out here a little bit and walk around there, Brett. And I'll probably have one of them.
It's got a cape in the back.
It's got a nice cape with the silver flare. It's got the front drop. This is removable for when we go indoors for comfort. They looked great at the concert, so I don't know if we'll have to do too much changing. When we're outdoors, we have the gauntlet, but we won't. Show them how easy those come off, Brett. It's fine. You're throwing your own size. So, and they are numbered as a set so that the students can keep track of them easily. And we don't perform with the gauntlets indoors. Cuffs and hems are now snaps, so we have to buy about a $25 steam press, and we just set it once and then press it before performance, and it's done. My grandmother was who passed away, and she was the one last 2 falls ago was the one doing all of them on the old red ones, and so it's going to be a great moment. So the hats for when we're outdoors have these beautiful new plumes with these wraps, and the hats have 3 different looks. And Caden, I dropped the ball and forgot the drum major's hat. So the drum major's wrap is white completely, and so it'll stand out really nice, and it has all 3 looks. So we have this striped look which matches the underside. Hold still, Brett. And then I'm afraid I'm gonna hurt the plume. Thank you, Captain. So then it has for homecoming or senior night or whatever event we want to do it. We have a WHS that slides right back on. And so each student will have this issued to them as well. So it won't even be a matter of pause, it'll just be, okay, we're gonna go with this hat, or drumline, you're in this hat, and everyone else. And so it gives us a really great variety, which was one of our design ideas we were going for. And so we were able to still pull that through with the hat, which was really, or the Shaco, excuse me, the company was calling me and saying, said hat. We were able to pull in all three designs that are kind of all 4 logos that we're working with in the band department. We have the community W, we have the Crusader head on the shoulder, and we have the Crusader shield, which we've really developed, and then sadly, the band, oh here it is, excuse me. Our band W is on the drum major's hat. So we sort of started our own brand in the band department. And so what that gives us is that this polo is what we use for our pep band dress attire, and for hot weather, if it's hot or we know rain is potential, we will wear our polos with either jeans or shorts, depending on the weather. So, and we will have a charcoal athletic short to go underneath the uniform with their t-shirts. So, this whole uniform, right, you're getting a lot of guilt here, I know.
Guilt?
Or you're getting a lot of guinea pig here. This whole uniform's meant to be so that we don't have to stop at Casey's or anywhere if we were gonna perform at a marching band festival. It slides right off, and instead of it being,
Yes. It slides right off if you're not holding stuff.
so they have a full appropriate tire underneath the jacket.
That looks comfy, actually.
And so
It's a lot easier than the old ones because it's only the 2 pieces, and it's so much better. It's awesome. So we appreciate it,
Thank you, Brian.
improving everything.
So, and this is all equipped, and students will be paying a $5 cleaning fee, and along with their shoe purchase. So we have some money to help towards the cleaning during the season. So there's the uniforms. I'm gonna give you a quick state of the band after that, but are there any questions, or you wanna feel the new ones? They're a whole lot nicer feeling than the old ones that were caked with sweat. So
30 years of sweat.
Looks a lot cooler than it.
it's a lot different jacket, right? I mean, they got to march in them, how many seasons? You marched twice in the old seasons, right? Yeah. And then Caden has the,
I have a cape.
he has a
A
cape.
cooler cape.
Why is it special?
Our drum major has two.
Are you the drum major?
So this,
I am.
Caden is our drum major for next year. We'll probably have the white actually, be on the back, since that'll go with his hat, or his shako. So he'll have the poke hat.
The whole hat.
So we got, and we're going with a standard issue $25 shoe. Students will be purchasing a set of socks and shoes that are all standard issue, so that'll be something that we'll be very unified. And that's our has been our big goal with the marching band, so. Any other questions? That's why we wear hats outdoors, so.
Yeah.
And the shakos have a lot more room than the old shakos, so the girls will be able to bun and twist and fit their hair up, which will be a nice thing for them, so. Anything else, children? Young adults, one is an adult now, happy birthday. We have state champion in band, so we, so goes the school, so goes the band, or vice versa, so goes the band, so goes the school, so it's really sweet that we have some kids that were in some really great activities and went a long ways with that, so. You guys can sit down if you want to stand up here, but I'm gonna just do a quick little commercial for the band department. Yeah. So we've made great strides, right? This was a huge step. When I had the interview 2 years ago and John and Steph said, hey, we want to do this, I was like, okay. Had some great talks with Adam last year and with great patience and persistence and direction, we reached this goal, so that's just been great. To cap this off, no pun intended, we are gonna get a ball cap that will clip onto our shoulders from a local vendor. We're gonna actually use the Wellington flag on the ball caps, and those will be student owned, so once the season's over, the student gets to keep the ball cap. And that way we have as much Wellington branding as I could put on them to move down the street with, so it's really cool. We've had some really great support with the repairs. I had some great talks with Wendy and Stephanie on getting the instruments fixed. Most of the tubas have all been reconditioned, and we're resurfacing the marching band percussion right now, so we'll have 2 workable drum lines in both buildings. And that's gonna be a really great opportunity for everybody. I say, to build the pride, we gotta have people, resources, involvement, diversity, and expectations. And we've got some great people. The middle school is at an equal number involved as the high school, and there's one less each group. So we're already on the growth in that department. Some big plans there. We're gonna have a January tour to all 4 grade schools, so that they can see the band as grade schoolers, and then hopefully we'll be able to do a fun trip. I've kind of gotten some good verbal approval from the big chiefs, and to take the middle school for a nice fun activity late spring. So that'll be a good recruiter. But we were able this year to reach out to all the 5th grade students. I was able to go out to all the 5th grade classrooms and test them on the different instruments, and had some really positive feedback there. So I'm hoping we're gonna have a good set of 6th graders. Our goal is 60 in 6th grade, because that will really create a tidal wave of change. But if we can get an equal number from all 4 schools, we're gonna be building up, which is great. For the high school, we're aiming to have a fall festival parade band. Hopefully it's mighty. It might be small, but we will be mighty either way. So it's gonna be good. If they don't show up, you know who to call and say, why weren't you in the fall festival parade? So other high school events, we have 2 marching band events at the competition level. We're gonna hopefully go to K-State and go to a clinic and get a lot of coaching tips, and then do our Balala again. And those are the last 2 weeks of October, so we have the whole season to really push towards that great moment, which is gonna be fun. We're going to start a gong stand-in fundraiser at basketball games, where you get to buy a ticket to be one of the 2 people that get to bang the gong during our opening song that we play at the beginning of the basketball games. So we'll make that kind of a big moment with the announcer and hopefully be able to train people quickly enough. So that'll be good. We're gonna have a Christmas jazz taco dinner. And we're gonna do, it sounds really great, and curveballs, but working with the fax department, we're gonna have a nice Christmas jazz setting and fundraiser and pie sale. And then with fax, they're gonna do fried tacos. And so we're gonna share some of the proceeds from all of that. So it's gonna be a nice cooperative event with Mrs. Lawless. Concert band, we're going to be going to, again, K-State, hopefully do the concert band clinic, a couple other performance coaching events for the band, and then going back to the Acacia Festival this year, since we can do it in person. So, and we'll use these for concerts and for Acacia. The only time we wouldn't use our full attire is when we have chamber ensembles, so that the students can wear their own concert plaques and or even this would work in a chamber ensemble if students want to do that. So, we're on the move, we're moving on. So it's good stuff, yes, Misty?
The band used to go to the state fair.
Oh, yes, we will go to the state fair, I'm sorry. That one just jumps by me. The state fair will be our first performance before we even perform here.
That's like jumping right in.
Yeah,
You barely
we
be-
probably will go in our polos
That's a hot.
Yeah,
and our
that's
comfortable bottoms, because we had a faint student 2 years ago when we went in the old uniform. We hadn't even left the
Oh my
buses.
gosh.
We just put them on to warm up and I lost one and I was like, okay. So I think we lost a total of 5 that afternoon. So we're gonna go early and we're gonna go comfortable and so yeah. Some things we're trying to resource. Oh, the resources, the second thing. Mr. Smith was able to help me get scaffold. And they're gonna paint the front lawn of the high school so we can practice there instead of all the way around, which is gonna save us almost an hour every week of travel time between our practice facility and the band room. And then a PA system and a generator, so we're able to actually do some special, have a piano player in the show. And that'll serve one of our special needs students almost perfectly, so that she can resource and perform in the band. And get an opportunity to do that. So that's gonna be some great things. And then we also will have a generator at the stadium to be accessed on the field for all people. One of the things I keep hitting my band parents about is hopefully we can get an enclosed trailer so we can hang our uniforms and haul some of the percussion a little simpler for the games. So, and I'm trying to work with maybe some of the other sports teams to see if we can kind of do a cooperative equipment on that. So that'll be our next big resource action. So, yes, ma'am.
You say drumline. Is that just language for your drum section? We went to Augusta a few years ago. I don't know if anybody else was there at the basketball game. And oh my gosh, they just drumline and they performed. Is that what you're trying
That's
to
the
build?
long-term goal, yes.
Yeah.
That's a drum line, yes.
Yeah,
Where
God, it's-
our long-term goal is that we'll, not only the percussion that marches with the band, but then we will have an indoor percussion marching ensemble to perform. And that's one of the things we are going to initiate next year as well. A lot of interest in doing that as a class or as an addition to some of the other performance ensembles. So hopefully we'll be able to do one of those performances in the basketball season next year as well. So, any other questions? Well, thank you very much.
Thank you. We did a lot
We
of
wouldn't
work.
we wouldn't have these if you hadn't said let's get it done. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thanks.
Have a great night.
Thanks,
A lot of work in the design. There's enough red, I'm happy.
Thank you guys.
Red and white, we got enough red and white.
Hey, next thing on the agenda is district handbook.
Yes, district handbooks this is a pre-setup for, as you know, our July meeting is our beginning of our fiscal year. And so the July meeting is always getting 50,000 things approved. And so putting the handbooks in front of you in order for you to review, discuss, have any questions that we can answer before next month, and then we will place them in the consent agenda next month once all of your questions are answered. So really this is, you're welcome to discuss anything tonight, or you're welcome to contact us. Different people throughout the district do the different handbooks, and so I can reach out and get questions answered as things change as well.
Are there any big changes in them?
But everything should be highlighted in there. Yeah, everything's highlighted in there for your review, and so any changes that made.
It's in there somewhere.
Yep, and you're welcome to ask me. I can reach out for you, or the elementary principals work on theirs together. The middle school principals work on theirs. High school principals. Officer Wiley actually does our crisis handbook and sets that up. And then central office works on the classified handbook. So
Was there an elementary one in here?
there should have been, yes.
I'm not good at this, but I got better this time.
No, that's okay. It was all in that
Oh,
handbook
good
folder.
lord, I missed right
Yeah.
here. How'd I miss it?
Okay, good.
I know the
Yeah.
hardest thing is keeping the names up to date.
Yes,
Phone
Yeah,
numbers.
yeah. And then there's little tweaks that they want to do because, situations come up and things change along the way. But they should have left everything highlighted, anything that they changed. And so that'll allow you to make it a little easier for you. So please reach out to me if you have anything
Okay.
throughout the month, and then we will put those in the consent once you have everything answered.
Sounds good.
Okay.
So moving on to at-large BOE elections.
Yes, topic came up this month about obviously we have BOE elections this year in 2021. So this discussion is actually for 2023. This would not affect this year's election. Any discussion that's had in this topic, but as you know, we have currently we have 3 districts, and we vote on 3 districts, and then there's an at-large position amongst the board. So within a 4-year period, you have a District 1, 2, and 3 seat during one election. The next election is District 1, 2, and 3 and at-large, and then it rotates back and forth. What has been discussed about, I know the City Council has done this at some point, is going to potentially a discussion amongst the board at least about any interest there is in going into at-large, all at-large situation, where essentially people sign up for board and it's basically the top vote getters that make the board out of however many that show up. So it basically takes away the districts and puts it community-wide and makes it top vote getters. So just a topic that was brought up by a board member or two along the way this month because elections became a topic, and so just wanted to throw out there for discussion. Not necessarily any recommendation, it's just a topic up for discussion.
We can't change on our own back to, away from November, can we?
This year?
No,
That's
ever.
what we need to do.
I know.
Oh,
that's
back to
what
November,
we
yeah.
do.
Back to
Right.
April, yeah.
That's so
Yeah.
crazy.
I agree.
That's
You can't do
crazy.
that, right? That's the state.
Yeah, that's the state, yeah. No, I agree, that would be great. January's a tough time to start.
We want to get rid of you any sooner than we have.
Well, the city went to that, and it
Yes.
seems to have worked out, as far as I know.
Yeah. I think there was some concern at first, as far as representation, equal representation across the city. You could theoretically have all your board members from one area of town, but that hasn't really proven to be the case at the city. So I don't know if that would be the case at the school board, but I think the city's pretty equally represented across the town. So, and I'm speaking for myself, I've ran unopposed for, it'll be 12 years now. And we just gotta get more people involved, and I think that might be a good way to do it.
That's my thought too. I think sometimes if you have a good board member, I think sometimes it kind of locks people out of the board because they're afraid, or they're not afraid, they just out of respect, they don't want to run against you, and they might have some great ideas. And
Yeah,
I think the district thing's kind of dated, my personal
Yeah.
opinion. I think
I remember when the city went away from the wards, which there was 4 of them
Mhm.
in a little town like Wellington.
Yeah.
And it got difficult to find candidates out of each one of those
Right.
4 wards, and it made a lot of sense to me to go to at-large for that, because I remember thinking, I don't care what ward you're in if you have a pothole.
yeah, right.
You're just gonna be taken care of just like
Right.
everybody else.
so would that have to be, I know when the city did it, they did it by charter ordinance. And there's some more variables that work into that. For instance, there's term limits at the city. There's not term limits at the school district. So I don't know if there's some other pieces of the puzzle that we may need to look at or not look at. I mean, I guess a little bit that's up to us.
Yeah, and this is initial discussion, like I said, we're 2 years out from any changes, so, I mean, we could vote on changes, obviously, in the future here, but, I can get the more, if the board is interested in that, then I can bring back details and specifics, based off of.
So I kind of read through it, you know, it's confusing because you can have what, 2, 3 district, you can choose how many districts you have. And then I just thought if the board's interested, why don't we just turn it over to the board, the district attorney or the KASB or someone
Yeah.
to get
To
the,
get the, well, yeah, and that's also a possibility for sure.
Another good source is J.P. Buellsfeld, cause he kind of ran with the city deal and.
Okay.
Cause he's really interested in it, so he.
yeah, from what I gathered, it's just a board vote to get that switched for the elections.
And then contact with, yeah, okay.
Okay.
Is that something you're
Yeah.
interested in? Is there anybody have anything on the opposite side to say about that?
I don't think so.
Okay,
Surprisingly.
so I will gather official information, I can get a hold of JP or Martin, whoever we need to, and get some more information, and we'll bring that back to you next month.
Sounds good. Okay, moving on to action items, the first thing we have is food service addendum.
Yes, you had approved a food service addendum that needed tweaked by our food service company based off of state regulations, and so we are just needing a new food service addendum so that when our food service audit comes in, everything is up to snuff, so.
So is there any difference between what we did last month?
Yes, there's a tweak in the exchange, and Wendy, I don't know if you have.
It's a consumer price index, it was lower than what
Oh,
they had
okay.
originally put in.
Yeah.
So the numbers you're actually approving right now are less.
Okay.
So our it just lowers our fixed rates by just a tiny bit.
I think the other one was a little bit too high by regulation.
So we need a motion on that.
I'll make a motion to approve the food service addendum.
Second.
Got a motion and a second, all those in favor raise their hand. All those opposed, same.
Will we raise lunch prices or do we know yet? If we'll be raising
That will
lunch.
be in July, that's in the July stuff.
Yeah, and that will be a thing, but technically next year, everybody's still free. So,
All the way through the year?
Oh, no.
Are we gonna make any money?
Yeah.
you don't make money off of
Make any
Right.
lunches, Larry.
Okay, the next thing we got is the bond resolution.
Yes, Destin Navy, Piper and Sandler continue to work on the district bonds as the district requested, and so there's a new bond resolution for the 2011 bonds that we placed in your packet, and needing a approval of that so they can continue to move forward with their processes. Wendy, I don't know if you have anything to add to that
No,
necessarily.
it's literally the same exact thing that you guys went through in March. This bond came in at 130,000. Our savings was, which is actually right on what we were expecting way back in January, so it all worked out great.
This one's a lot smaller than the
Yeah.
one in March.
Yeah.
But still worth doing.
It's still saving the community.
So do I have a motion to do the bond resolution?
I move we accept the bond resolution.
Got a motion? Second?
Second.
Got a second, all those in favor raise your hand. All those opposed, same. Okay. Wellington Middle School furniture.
Yes, we have had some additional information come up since that went out on the agenda, and so we're requesting to table that until July.
Okay. You don't need any action from us on that?
Nope.
Okay, we're just gonna table that and move on.
Yep, please.
Okay, so we'll be moving on to administrative reports. All right.
No, we are out.
Yeah, June and July is pretty sparse when it comes to so, which is-
Adam, do you have
which
any
is
reports
fine,
for
yes.
us?
Yeah, always, I send you emails all the time, that's most of my reports, you guys are pretty up to date with my stuff, but, Any, I don't know that we have anything extra. Jen has done quite a few summer school trips this week, and so if there's anything you want to report back on
Summer
that.
school seems to be going well. I've been in and out of middle school, elementary, and high school. And they're doing a lot of neat things. They've implemented some STEM things at the elementary and the middle school. And they've got some neat projects going on at the high school. So it's going as well as can be expected.
So is the attendance up or still there or?
The attendance seems to be a little bit higher in the morning than the afternoon. And of course, at the high school, it's a little bit different because they can, come or not come. And so our attendance at the elementary, of course, is the highest. And
How many are there in the elementary? I missed that number.
there was approximately, the last time I asked was about 55.
Do we have very many going all day?
We did have several going all day, and they try to keep it interesting so that the kids can make it all day and still have a great time. And they're trying to do some field trips on Fridays. And so,
When you said that the high school, they can come or they don't have to come, what,
at the high school,
It probably depends on whether they're doing credit recovery. or
yeah,
not.
credit recovery, I
Yeah.
can, but I mean, what if it, I mean,
yeah, and it's just a little bit different at the high school because they are working on credits and so forth, but the attendance has been up and down over there.
This week, yeah.
The elementary is at Lincoln,
Mm-hmm.
and that's it, just Lincoln?
Yes.
Okay.
So first time we've done this, so this is kind of one of those weeks and months or summers, I should say, that we will be learning and tweaking and learning what we did right and what needs to be done better in the future. So it's a work in progress for sure.
how many teachers do we have at the high school? I'm just curious.
Yeah, we have Darla Carroll
2 teachers at the high
And
school, I think, and
then Linda Roush doing the
Yeah.
credit recovery.
doing some of the credit
So
recovery.
there's
Okay.
3 over there.
Do we still have a computer program that you can do that? I mean,
Yes.
years ago, we had a
Yes.
computer program where you could do
Yes,
that.
the Ingenuity.
Credit, yeah, okay,
Yeah.
Linda Roush runs that one.
okay, that's, okay.
So we'll continue to tweak that as we go. So,
Good. Anything else? Is it good?
I think so.
Okay.
We had your, the state assessment scores and all that, and it didn't look too bad, looks pretty good. Do we have anything on Fast Bridge, like the
I can
policy?
add some things on Fast Bridge as
Yeah.
well, so you can kind of see, because that's definitely not apples to apples, so it would be
Yeah, just like,
different
yeah,
things that you
because there
can
wasn't
see.
anything last year, but
Yes.
maybe from fall,
Sorry, I
you know,
didn't
from
add
fall is
that.
the spring, hopefully,
Yeah,
with all the things we did and
Yep.
interventions, and
and
that'd be nice to see.
we were pleasantly surprised that we hadn't dropped more for our state assessments, and I think the prediction was 15 to 20%, and we did not do that. We were lower, but not near as low as that.
Yeah, the COVID factor, yeah. So we're pleased about that. I know everybody is super excited about elementary math and how that is processed throughout the last couple of years, and it's really starting to show in scores, and so pretty excited about that. I know teachers are really fired up.
I had a question, I made a copy of all these, so looks like we're below the state average a little bit.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Are we making progress in that area? Are we getting better?
So we have 2019 and then we have this year to compare. And I feel like we have held our own, and I'm hoping to see progress now that COVID is over and we're, into our curriculums, and I'm seeing a lot of good things out of math because we've had 3 good years of implementation with that. And unfortunately, we're into our second year with
our reading at the elementary, but our second year really didn't count as a solid year because we couldn't get through all of that curriculum. And then of course we started our first year with several at the middle and high school. So we'll be really starting our first solid year this year, getting through all the curriculum.
I know the purpose was to just see how we,
Yeah.
what 2020 did to us, and it looks like it's not too bad.
Yeah,
But I'm concerned that in 2019, before any of this happened, we were still trailing the state. And how, like compared to say 2015, are we getting better? Or how are we doing here?
I would have to look at 2015, but I feel like we did hold our own through COVID.
Yeah.
Pretty much, and I can see. I predict that we'll see some gains this next year.
So when it says the state, that's all 286 districts of the state? Okay. Wish we were better.
Yeah, we will be.
Good questions. Guess we'll move on to executive sessions.
I'll make a motion that we go into executive session to discuss legal matters, to include Adam and the administration team and Lynn and Vix. For 15 minutes, the regular meeting will resume at 7:01 p.m.
7:01.
Got a motion, need a second.
Second.
Thank you.
Okay, got a motion and a second, all those in favor? Not sure how many we got there. I only saw about 3 hands. Okay. All those opposed, same sign. Okay,
I
thanks.
usually say,
Nobody
this is
really
raising
wants
your
to go
hand,
into
this is
executive.
raising your hand.
This is a double
This is
kick.
raising your hand, I don't want to.
All right,
No, not
get your
raising.
school teacher.
Tell him the time that he usually.
I,
Are we?
Yeah, we are back in
Okay.
session.
maybe go into
Sorry.
executive session for 30 minutes for non-elected personnel.
Okay, got a motion to go back into executive session for 30 minutes to
Second.
discuss.
Non-elected personnel.
To include,
Oh, to include the board and possibly, what did you say
Wendy
before?
on call.
Wendy and
Wendy
Adam on call.
Adam on call.
I'll second.
All those in favor, raise your hand.
The regular meeting will resume at 8:03.
8:03?
Yep.
It's Aaron does. Aaron does. Yeah, if you wanna just
to the consent agenda.
Approve the minutes of the May 10th meeting, approve payroll and bills, payroll $1,236,743.80, bills $796,722.39, transfers, approve all budgetary transfers to end fiscal year according to state budget guidelines, personnel, approve new hires, Kelly Nance, counselor, WHS, Shannon Smith, music teacher, Kennedy and Lincoln, Hannah Shuck Lawless, PE teacher, Kennedy and Lincoln. Approve resignations, CJ Carey, Human Resources Payroll Manager, Barbara Morgan, Sped Eisenhower, Micah Rogers, Assistant Basketball Coach, WMS, Kellen Bausmer, Assistant Softball Coach, WHS, Sam Ambergy, Counselor, WMS, Mark Dillo, PE teacher, Kennedy and Lincoln, Tracy Ross, first grade teacher, Kennedy, Alicia Omo, fifth grade teacher, Eisenhower, and transfer Samantha Brown, counselor WHS to counselor WMS.
Okay. Do we have anything that needs to be added to the consent agenda? Or we approving it as read?
Yeah, I wanted to add the administrative salary recommendations as presented, with the addition of, Adam Hatfield going to the, I lost it, the average amount, do you have it, Jason?
Oh.
The average amount for the 4A schools.
Okay. Does that work, Adam? The way that's worded? Everybody understands what that means?
Second.
Got a motion and a second. So, all those in favor raise their hand. All those opposed, same sign. Okay, that passed. And it looks like board comments. Work the way around the room. Anybody got any comments?
Jen, I have a question.
Sure.
The furniture, is it, what's the colors? What did you decide?
So, the colors are the school colors.
Mhm.
So
Is it that furniture that the layout that you sent us last month, the pictures,
this,
the gray?
the ones that you saw on the quote.
Okay.
So, and then I just kind of wrote, we put white on the top, and it's a light erase, so it will brighten up the room.
On the top of the table?
So it's
like
maybe
a-
dry erase board?
Yeah, it's like a dry
Okay.
erase board.
Okay.
And the bottom is gray, and the tables are the same, chairs are red.
So that white will brighten it up a lot, okay.
It will. So I think you guys will really like it.
Anybody else? Larry?
Lions Club did our annual Lions Junior Awards where we picked 6 boys, 6 juniors, and 6 girls, 6 boys. And then they vote amongst themselves, and this year it was Corbin Jones and Keely Ramirez were the plaque winners. So we treated them to a picnic last Wednesday at the park.
Cool.
This has been going on since 1931.
Oh, wow.
That's great.
It's a lot of Lions Club winners.
Anytime you can recognize somebody though, it's a good thing.
Absolutely.
Were you one of those at one time, Larry?
No.
Okay.
I was. I'm proud to say.
There you go, see? I knew there'd be one of them somewhere.
Yep. Any other board comments? If not, I believe we are adjourned.